Hopefully this will be the last video explaining inputs, and this is the most important one. It's about technical indicators, because these indicators help the program determine when exactly you want to buy each coin. And as I mentioned before, I'm using a lot of different, like RSI, I'm using EMA, SMA, I'm looking at DMI, I'm looking at PPO, price oscillator. I'm using a lot. And for every single trader, we all use different strategies. So I'll be explaining how to use every single one that you want to be using. So I'll put the link in the description. We're using a module called TA-LIB. I don't know if you guys remember, but we installed this in the very first videos. Where is it? Right here. This is a really important module because it tells us exactly which type of indicators that we want to be using. I can find that sample. I have so many. Okay. I know it looks complicated, but I made it easy. You don't need to touch any of that. So you go to this link, you click documentation. These are all the functions that are offered. So let's look at volume indicators. There's not a lot here. Okay, momentum. There's a lot. So for someone who might be using ADX, I use ADX personally. CCI, I use that. Chandemo oscillator, I use that as well. There's a lot of different indicators I can use. There's a variety, and I'll be talking about the relative strength index, as this is probably one of the most commonly used technical indicators. It basically tells you, I'll also show you later, how overbought or oversold a cryptocurrency is or a stock is. So you have to be familiar with how to trade stocks as well as looking at indicators. There's a bunch. I mean, there's a lot that you can choose from, and the best part is that it's already installed for you here. So today I'm just going to be looking at RSI, and okay. So first I need to explain how this works. So say that I'm looking at Bitcoin, right? And first you need to choose a time frame. I'm just going to look at 5 minutes because it's a lot more clear and also a lot more relevant. So I'm looking at Bitcoin, and I'm looking at the perfect time to buy. And for this, again, this is different for everybody. So, but for this, I'm just going to use a simple example. I'm going to use the RSI. So I mentioned how the RSI is how overbought or oversold a cryptocurrency is. So in this case, we can see here, there was a huge increase in price. And what can we see here? We also see that RSI is above this line. So what this means is, I mentioned how overbought or oversold this is. So this 50 is a baseline for RSI. If you go above this line, it means a lot more people are buying this than usual. If it goes below the line, like here, it means people are selling a lot less. I mean, a lot more than usual. We can see here that if people are buying more than usual, way more than usual, we can expect the price to increase a lot, which we see here. Perfect. Another way to look at RSI is to see how oversold a stock is. People might be panicking, people might be overselling a lot due to fear. And we see here that we see this massive price decrease that corresponds to this drop in the RSI as well. So overall, I just want to say how useful this indicator is and how you can use this into the program without having to constantly look at your screen for this, because the program will automatically, it will say like, hey, I found that the RSI is above 70. It's being overbought right now. Should I sell? And the program will do it for you. And maybe it might be like, hey, it's being oversold. It's below 30 right now. RSI is below 30. I should buy something. I should buy Bitcoin. So that's exactly what I want to achieve here. And so how do I do this? So it's really simple. This doesn't really matter what name you give it. So in my example, I'm looking at So in this case, I did 15 minutes, but in this case, we're looking at the 5 minutes. Um, in the program, it says 15 minutes, but say I want to just look at the 5-minute chart, okay? It doesn't really matter. So 5 minutes, and maybe you want to do the 1-hour chart. The 1-hour chart. The 1-hour chart here. It's the same thing. You just do 1 hour, and this doesn't really matter. You can just ignore this. I'm sorry, it's complicated, but this is the only thing you need to worry about. So, you have 5 minutes. Done. Okay. And now we're just gonna input. Hey, what time frame is this? And we're looking at a 5-minute chart. What coin are we looking at? Look at Bitcoin, obviously, and just input this, what we labeled here. And actually, you don't actually need to do this because you can just put that in here. It should work. Yep. Okay. And you might be asking yourself, what is this? Well, you don't need to worry about it. It's just, it calls the data from the exchange. Like, it's going to ask you, hey, what's the opening price? What's the closing price? What volume is this at right now? That's basically what this is. And it's storing it into a data frame. So, it tells you the open, the highs, the lows, close volume, and the volume. So you don't really need to know about this. It's just bringing data from the system. What's most important is this. So you ask to call sample on a specific coin that you want, and say that you want to figure out the RSI at the current moment. The RSI at the current moment is around 50 to 60. So all you need to do is every single indicator that you want, you just type TA-LIB, remember that's the name of the module, and also the name of the indicator that you want to be using. So say, using RSI, you look at the documentation, and you just type RSI in capital L. Say I want to be looking at momentum. You just type MOM, and that's it. And it'll tell you what it needs. So momentum requires you to input closing prices. Some might ask you for highs and low prices. For RSI, let's see what the requirements are. We need closing prices. Well, that's exactly what this does. We're looking for closing price. So we're saying, hey, TA-LIB, here's a list of closing prices for Bitcoin, and I want you to calculate the RSI at the current moment for us. So let's see what happens when we run the program, because it should be giving us, look at the 5 minute, right? It should be giving us a value of 30 point something. So let's check that. Okay, let's run it. Okay, right here. Perfect. 34.71. That should be our RSI right now. Perfect. Yeah, it's around the same. And that's how you calculate how you use technical indicators to find and search for coins that you want to buy or sell. So this is the end. And in the next video, I'll be explaining how to compare multiple technical indicators side by side. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.